that we are
Got it.
live,
Got it. I think we
and
are.
I think we are on a different channel, a different stream. I know, not the same channel, just a different stream, and it's something to do with Zoom, folks. But
Yeah.
for all of you who are waiting on the one that I posted, I'm sure you'll be coming over here. We just say great day to you, favor. We speak that over us all. Nothing missing, nothing broken. Be of service to others and keep on prospering, even if it doesn't look like it. The fact that you're breathing, the fact that you have thought, and that you own this beautiful body, you're winning. So we love you. And this is a second look. And my lovely co-host, Miss Trina, how are you, my dear? Chloe's in the room, and Ballot Brandon, how are you doing, brother? Chloe, much love.
I'm starting to see them come in. Yep, they're finding us.
Yeah. Well, we can adjust. That what makes us also, a
Thank you,
beautiful
Chloe.
success.
You're
Chloe
like,
will
let me
love it.
grab
She
them.
says, I'm going to go there and grab them.
Right. I'm like, hey, you go.
I like that. Everyone needs kind of like the person that's, that takes charge. And I love it, Chloe. Much love to you. Jules, how are you? Good to see you.
Hi,
Robert,
everyone.
Bonnie, and Jet, and Nancy, good
You're
to see
here.
you. Knowledge seeker, namaste to you as well. As we say, enchante, enchante, enchante.
Namaste.
And Kent and Tammy, how are you? I have the prosperity sigil. Going to get back into sigils here in a couple of weeks and kind of do a review course. But much love to you both. And go, good to see you. Dave, hello. Teresa Ann, good to see you. Danny, good to see you as well. Hell of a show yesterday, wasn't it? Talked to my wife about it, and she had people at her work say, you really need to watch. Yesterday was anyway, Trina. Thank you. It was a hell of a show.
It was powerful. It really was. It
Wow,
really was.
it moved me. Now I read Steiner's papers all the time, but this one, I mean, at the right time, the student will be ready. Right there, you go. That's my point.
I love it. I was reading it too. It's so weird, the synchronicities, and you were talking about that. I was like, you can't make this up. I'm reading Steiner, and you're talking about Steiner. I'm like, this is okay. This is too much synchronicity.
Something need to be done. Something needs to be heard. And so Lynn and I were talking over dinner, and I said to her, I said, "Hun, I said, what do you think your wisdom level is?" And she stopped and she said, "I've never heard that question asked of someone." And so I went and I started reading, excerpts from the paper, and she stopped and she said, "Isn't it interesting? The whole world, well, I guess we would say 3/5 of the known world today, believe in a character named Jesus. They think that, this cat actually died and rose again. But the point is," I said, "Hun," she said, "would you trust someone today at the age of 33 to make a life-death decision with the wisdom?" I said, "Hell no. Most 33-year-olds still haven't even figured out, right foot, left foot. And unfortunately, but she said, now, isn't it odd that we've digressed from that?" So 33 was kind of like at the key point, as Steiner said, in India and Sumer and others, much later. Yeah. So what wisdom are you at? And that's what, I asked my wife. I said, "So what wisdom age are you at?"
I'd say probably 77.
Interesting.
Maybe 88.
Then that would be
I'm
Joe.
approaching 88. Actually, I've identified 88, but I haven't gone through it yet. But I'm definitely 77 for where I would assume I'm Wayne.
Then that would be a parallel. Hello, Robert V. How are you doing? Carol, and hey, Lauren, Ginger Grin. How are you doing, my dear? AFI. Pearl Jones, much love to you, and Tom C. So that's interesting because Steiner was the indictment is that we have this regression taking place. We can see it. It makes perfect sense why the leaders today can't figure out what to do. Their decisions are always wrong. But it was never brought up that there has to be a remnant that would be advanced wisdom beyond their mortal age.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
Scotty Boy said, I found the portal.
The children are the best example of that.
Well, and what's happening today in the world where children is concerned, you see, this is why I can't believe that what's happening, and that the theme today is what's your plan, is human. Because something is afoot here. And we've talked about it. We've talked it in sometimes a very hyperbolous way. But there is a serious part to this, and we're seeing it in the world. And it's like, wow, it's like I said yesterday, we've taken away anything to do with the spirit from the children.
Yeah.
And they're naturals at it.
Well, because they are spirit. They haven't
more so than flesh, I would say.
For real. Absolutely. I remember when I was 3, I lived in the etherical realms, in the higher dimensions, more than I was in the physical realm.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
Yeah. And as I got older, that became harder and harder, because you literally feel this veil coming over you with self-identification. It starts at about age 2, and it literally kept going and going and going. The more I am presence you take on, the more you get covered with the veil. So the more you self-identify, the more you lose your connection to all that is. So,
yeah, and that's, I think, a point as to why whatever this is, it's here. I mean, tomorrow I'm going to talk about it. It's coming. No, it's here. Whatever is here, and I think it's been here for a while. We have been hoodwinked, but
absolutely.
You take that away from the child, and then you get into those years of, adolescence. Adolescence isn't really a human being.
No.
Clinically, they're not. They're not human.
That's why they're my favorite group of children to work with.
Yeah, and it can be the most difficult too.
That's why I love it, because they're so in a position to where they're trying to identify with self. They're trying to figure out who they're going to be. They're creating their character at that moment of their process, which is more than just identification of ego. They're literally starting to create the character that they're going to play upon the stage. And it's amazing, because there's multiple potentials of that character. So if you can help them tap into the one that's going to be the strongest.
Yeah, but here's the problem on that, Trina, is there's not that many helping them. I mean,
no.
We looked at some of the school boards that are in this area, and wow, I mean, it's very evident that there is an agenda that's unfolding. And, when we separate the spirit, not religion, that's the problem we have as well. In our age, the nomenclature is synonymous. Well, if you're religious, you're spiritual. No, I know a lot of non-spiritual religious people.
Me too.
And in fact, I would say today, the greater amount are religious people who have no spiritual connection whatsoever. And that's very self-evident.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean,
it's doors of perception. It's all it is. It's everybody's in their own perception bubbles, and they're perceiving, and what they're perceiving, they're animating that with their spirit. So spirit's animating all of this, which is
did you read the story about what happened up in Idaho with the 4 college students? 3 of them were 20 and 1 was 21. 2 were sisters. The other 2 were friends. They were murdered. And it was evident that whoever did this did it with the intent of invoking as much fear to the other victims. And apparently the story that that's been said, the last one who was executed had to witness this barbarity. Now, Lynn and I were talking, I said, so is that human? Now, if you say no, okay, then what you've admitted there is by saying that then it would be non-human. Now, if it was non-human, then that means everyone born does not have a spirit, may not even have a soul, may have something in between that, or something that we don't even know, because, and it's happening more and more. I mean, where I live, the city, which is 100 miles to the east, about it's a war.
Yeah, it's a
People
war.
have lost all humanity in many cases. So, I guess, go ahead, Trina. I guess, not to cut you off, it was just that if that was non-human,
right?
Wow, I mean, the implications are just whoop. If it is human, then I'll say this. There is a point, I believe, in wisdom where there is no right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have incidences of this where you have four beautiful young spirits, so they had their future ahead of them, coming into the prime of life, taken away. If that wasn't human, then what was it? And then why the need for such, cruelty and this brutality?
Possession.
So, yeah, see, this gets real deep, because you and I were talking about the opposition in a political context. And then I said, when you said opposition, what I heard was oppression.
Yeah.
Then you heard operation. And I'm going, okay. I'm just going to read some of the chat room, hon. It says, Terry, hello. This says, this dark atmosphere of fear and lack is holding back spiritual growth, but can't be held back forever.
It's so simple. It's like we've got two different aspects of our mental construct: left brain, right brain. So either you're tapping into either or, and your consciousness is not even contained within your brain. It's a signal that you're receiving outside of your brain that your brain is receiving. So consciousness is open to perception. What are you able to perceive or grab out of the universal consciousness is what you're experiencing, because your spirit is that's the part of you that's manifesting through the soul so you can see it. So it's about opening doors of the mind. And when these mental doors go into the evil, dark realms, or they're depressed or even taken over by frequency, because now we can see the power that frequencies can have upon the consciousness of a mind, magnetics, different forces. So we're receiving signals 24/7. You're an open channel. You are possessing your physical body right now. You possess it. You don't own it. You don't keep it. It drops when it's done. It's a possession. Right now, you possess your physical body, which possession is 9/10 of the law. So I control my body. But if your body is not being controlled by you, boy, anything you can imagine can access your channels. So this is, I think, where we're seeing this so-called human behavior, is because they are literally tuning into a different species or a different energy of darkness and evil that literally can take them over.
Well, that would say, what you've said is that this is a declaration of war that has been apparently ongoing for who knows how many millennia. Who knows? I mean, and again, it's that thought, I have such a beautiful view now, and everything was snow covered this morning. But I was yet meditating on the fact that why is it that we're influenced? I mean, I am cognitive of my thought. I'm cognitive that something that I can't identify gave me consciousness. It's the only thing that I've come up to. I don't believe it was any God. I don't believe it was any devil.
That's a spirit, I think, Wayne. That's our spirit, the part we can't identify. That's
and it's
what I think that is.
And I asked and I heard myself, and this is interesting because you have that first person, second person conversation. Why are we influenced? I mean, some people say that this is a training ground for, for the gods.
I think
it makes sense.
Body, Wayne. It's our physical body. I think that is what it is. The vehicle we're existing in is literally, we've been able to possess it.
So when a person loses their life, it takes on a greater connotation because it implies that if you live your life to the full age and then leave fully satisfied, I believe that, you cross the finish line. But if you lose your life, wow. I mean, think about what it says on the other side. It's like you cross over and the first thing you're greeted with, you lost your body again.
Right.
And I'm saying again, because who knows? I mean,
right. Like another one bites the dust. Boom.
And I think about this. And so if you leave at a good age where you're fully satisfied, I mean, I think on the other side, you get the trophy. Way to go, Steiger. Trina, you got it.
That's so much of what.
Hey, Street Mom.
Right now, we're battling over consciousness. The ultimate thing right now is mind control, controlling the mind. How do you think? What do you perceive? What do you feel? Because see, the two parts of you, the one is the consciousness and the other is the feeling part of it. So this feeling part of it is not only our greatest power, but that's where they get us into darkness. That's how we can become possessed by different energies and entities. And, I see so much now I've been looking at this stuff for 30 years. And the light body systems, the chakra systems, all these things. And I've come to the conclusion in my mind, all of these different parts of your body are Torah fields filled with information. So you have access to 12 different gods overrunning you through the zodiac. But the Seven chakra systems are a whole nother set of entities, personalities operating within the body system. So the more you identify with these false light constructs, the deeper into the false light system you're being lured into.
Because I'm just going to say, that's a lot of freaking spirits and energy wanting control over my body, and that's kind of where I've come, I have these conversations, I speak out loud and I'll tell them a lot of time, you can go kiss my ass. Absolutely. I'm not giving you the time of fucking day. Get the hell out of here. And I rub it in their face that I said, I have a body. You don't. Right. You're just an energy. And I have something superior. Yeah. Come on. You want to go? I'll go with you.
That's right. You don't have a standing chance because I'm aware that you're trying to invade. That's 90% of it too. Yeah. Understanding you're being attacked because this is a system where everything here feeds. You included, me included. This is a vampiric
death
system. Zone. Well, everything here obviously is dead because
everything is dead here.
You do not need to feed. You self-sustain. So in this system, everything here has to feed. So that's obvious. This is a death system, entropy system.
Serpent it's in my book.
Own tail, Ouroboros. This is a serpent system. So once you start to identify what you are.
Well, wait a minute. Now, I just got this in the mail. I mean, this badass Yahweh, and boy, he's full of himself. So I showed you this. So folks, I literally got this in the mail and I'll let everyone read this. There it is. Your time arc service, module has returned. And if you look at the back, this is not an endorsement in any way, but I just thought it was interesting. Creator Yahweh's arcs for survival. And it's interesting because they have Noah's Ark and then they have the Ark of the Covenant.
And then a spaceship.
And then the spaceship. Yeah.
Those are the rapture arcs coming to take all the sleeple sheeples that think they know what's going on. They're going to go into the New Jerusalem. They're going.
They can have all of it. I don't want any of that, but I love it. As I freaked the audience, the group that was behind us at Bob Evans, that I said, every shepherd leads its sheep to the slaughter.
For real. Yeah.
And
it's looking like that's why
well,
they
it's
wear
true.
It's blood. It's blood. It's the representation of blood, sacrifice. It's all there. If you look at the etymology, the word clearly tells you what's going down.
The shepherd.
See it.
By the way, we want to send out healing thoughts to John Price, his companion for, I guess, over a decade. Suffered a stroke yesterday afternoon. So, folks, let's just send her some healing. See, I believe that the flesh is influenced by electromagnetic waves. I mean, that's what it really is. And I believe that you can send healing thoughts.
Yes.
So
I have been too. I've been reigniting the fire of her mind and regenerating all the cerebral fluids and bathing her mind in golden and white, beautiful fire light, healing, highest caliber. So may you be restored. Godspeed to that. May it be instant.
So, John, we love you. We send love to your companion as well.
Nothing missing, nothing broken.
Nothing missing, nothing broken. That's what we say. Someone said, interesting, the rapture arc. Yeah. And let me just tell you, this is my opinion and commentary on the whole rapture, the whole thing. Humanity, if a God was to do that, to rapture a portion of a species because of that portion's belief systems, it will do nothing, folks. The thing is, humanity is messed up. I don't know who did it to us. I just know collectively we're messed up. I wish I could sit here, Trina, and tell everybody that it's unicorns and beautiful balloons and what have you. But our species has demonstrated repeatedly we are a savage, murderous. We lie, we steal, we enslave, we inflict pain. We do it to ourselves.
Yep.
I mean, most people that are miserable is that they're living in self-deprivation.
Yeah.
And then that in turn goes right out into the world, and there's plenty of that already. And Trina, I just do not believe that if a God was to do that, that God is messed up. That's the cruelest thing you could do, because
it shows you it's dual in mind. It shows you it's got an ego. It shows you it's human.
And it's taking the very problem. What if it is a problem? I don't know. I just know it seems to be inherent in our species that somehow or another we can't seem to get it right. There's enclaves. Yes, that's been shown throughout history. And then they end up making great big religions of it, where I think it was just some people sitting around smoking a joint, maybe, eating some mushrooms and saying, what it really is about the fact that I love you, you love me. I don't put any restrictions, any conditions. And I may not agree with you, but, the thing is, it is cool. And you sit back
whatever.
and,
as long as it don't hurt me or hurt people I love, party on, dude. Whatever.
Bonnie says, I think we've been infested. I think you may be right.
I think so too. I think
there's a lot of truth to that.
I think we've been infected with with, some goo.
Oh man, now you're and it's so true. Cool. I love that. Just to give you an update, last Thursday, I'm sitting here in my office and I'm talking to my wife, and my office looks at the hallway, and there wasn't anyone in the house, just me and the two dogs. And something turned on every freaking light in the house.
Wow, that's a powerful
I'm sitting
spirit.
here and I heard it. and Lynn is going, "What's wrong?" Well, my first reaction is that, all right, there's no one in this house. No one's supposed to be in this house, so the first thing, my background is that, I have defensive measures and did a sweep of the house.
Yep.
And there was no one in it. And so I come back talking to her, and she said, well, I said, it's either paranormal or something has happened. And so I'm sitting in here, and then all of a sudden I'm hearing voices. So, you've been in the house. And so I went out into the great room, and someone had turned the television on.
Yeah, you have a very powerful spirit in there right now.
Woo!
Very powerful.
And it was like, okay.
I had one that did that at my dad's house, and that's a strong spirit. And you know what they did? The thing that freaked me out the most is it could lift weights, Wayne.
That's
it could lift weights. You hear the weight planking in the back.
I'd be almost PO'd, because I'd say, well, where the hell was your lazy ass when I was picking up all these boxes?
Well, this is the best one. It picked up a whole drawer full of silverware and slammed it in a stainless steel sink at 3:00 in the morning. You talk about getting everybody up. Oh, wow, that was loud.
See, yeah, I'd kick its ass, Now, whatever it is, it's very friendly.
I got rid of that fast.
And by the way, to our conversation yesterday, if you have frankincense, one of our people, you should be burning that as well. It's
powerful.
It's powerful. And then you add the myrrh with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I like cedar and sage.
You have cedar, yeah. And myrrh is one of those things, it's just but yeah. The cedar, I like that aspect of it. Has a good smell to it. I got a lot of fantastic stuff out of the last Spirit Box list of words. Very cool item. Wow. Someone else wrote from last week's session. They were doing research on the Sharon Tate murders, I believe. And if you remember, the ghost box said stabbing, murder. So it's very, again, we're connected through, there's hundreds of people watching this. What?
You know what I just heard, Wayne?
What?
That was gift.
Go inside for truth.
That was gift, though, because it's tuned into all of us.
Yes, yes, it is.
I've never heard that before. I picked up on other beings that I just heard that was gift. I was like,
that was a gift. Cool.
Interesting.
Wow.
That's our going inside for truth. And they were researching the Sharon Tate part. That's interesting. I'm like, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's very, and we'll do it right before the end of the show again, because it's interesting. I mean, you and I mean, I'm just reading it, and you're looking at it, and it didn't dawn on me that of all the hundreds of people that are watching this, thousands eventually, it has a message. Now that's intelligence.
Oh, absolutely. And
that's intelligence.
I've done this type of work and trance work and stuff like that. You do some of the stuff when it comes out originally, it doesn't make any sense. And it's weird, because boy, it sure does later. It makes absolute 100% perfect sense. And you're like, I didn't even understand what that meant then, but wow, I do now. So it's profound. That's why I've been writing these things down, because I know we're going to get more and more information out of these word drops. I know it.
Well, 2 weeks ago, someone recently is looking in the comments that we had the demon, and then we had, what was it? The Ormaeus, or whatever that term. Yes. And that is apparently a prayer, as I understand it now. And that prayer, and what I interpret it is that this is a prayer, and I believe it's maybe a prayer for favor, if I read that correctly. Tom says, whenever I go inside, I see Wayne. Tom, it's like, okay, that's going to be a fun place. But anyway,
absolutely, that's funny. I wonder if there's some kind of a level of truth to that. If you guys might be fractals of each other, because there's many
or we are fractals of each other.
That's what I mean. Yeah, we've got fractals, lots of fractals, and the people we're really resonating with, I wonder if they are part of our fractals.
You know, and I was rereading in Rennie, I know if you remember, I guess it's been about I think it has been 4 years ago when the night visitor came. And I wrote that out, go in the archives and check that out. I recently reread what was told to me, and holy
it makes so much more sense now, right?
It's totally, and the thing has come to pass in so many of this. And my point to that is, I have seen this group, and it's interesting because we are, there is a tribe. I mean, I am convinced of it. Yes. Why many times some spirits get lost here is I think they either pulled away from their tribe or they have no tribe on the other side.
And I think it's because they got tricked by a lower energy and they got pulled into some type of depression, addiction, because this is how
something's keeping them here.
Well, the light workers are seriously targeted, guys. So all of us probably here, we've been challenged with many things.
So Trina, let's you and I delve in a little bit on this one, as we are light beings. Over on my whiteboard, I have this in biocentrism. It says, time is a concept looking for a function. Time is the fourth dimension lines, but it says everything we see in the universe is receding. Now, it gets even better. Light has no color, nor any visual characteristics whatsoever. Light is basically photons, waves of electromagnetic energy, which means we are not light in the sense that we
perceive it.
Exactly. Yeah. I have, studio lights behind me.
We're in false light construct right now.
Bingo. That's my point. Light. We may very well be dark.
We are. We are in the shadow world. That is exactly correct from what I've been seeing. And what I'm seeing, remember, Wayne, I kept saying, I keep getting information on these 3 levels of consciousness, Where I'm at now, because like I said, these concepts are so big, it's really hard for me to break them down into language. So the best way I can identify it at this point, it might get bigger, it might change again. I don't know everything and I don't ever claim to. So 3rd dimensional reality is the first level of consciousness. 5th dimension is another layer of consciousness. 7th is the highest layer of consciousness that you must break through before you can get through the infinity gate, which is the 8, which breaks you out of the false light construct and you get to the lowest level of the true light functions. So those are the higher dimensions. You have to get out of you have to get through 9 to get into
like the 10, visible 11, the spectrum. The visible spectrum is what we relate to as to being light.
Soul. We see through soul. So I think the 3 levels of consciousness, you're still soul. And then when you get to the higher, you become spirit. With spirit, you're going to lose a lot of your identity. If you go to these higher realms, you're no more you. You're going to be God consciousness, which is the whole thing that knows everything. And it's nothing at the same time. It's a very different, it's a little, I'll be honest, it's a little spooky for me to go there. I don't like it so much. It freaks me out a little bit.
Well, I was looking at the archives, and there's over 2,000 now in there, but I did a show where right after the visitor visited me, then I had that out-of-body experience where I knew I had separated from my body. And as I told you, I was literally hovering over this planet. And there are tunnels. You can call them gateways, you can call them what, but they're so numerous, and there's so many beings going in and through them. But I remember being that I just wanted to know more of that. And the next thing I know, I'm being pushed out into this dark void. But the interesting thing was there were many others around me.
Yes.
And as we continued this, it was very clear that there was something in front of us. And By the time I got there, what were a lot were only a few of us left. And when I got there, I'm reliving it again. There, it was this, the best way I know how to describe it, it was like a train platform. Many of you who ride the train, that it literally was a platform.
That is so funny. My friend's mom, right before she passed away, that was one of the last things she said to me. She goes, "Sweetheart, I know what train I'm riding on."
Now that's interesting.
She said to me,
wow.
"I know what train I'm taking. I know which one I'm going on." She knew. She knew.
Well, I never, what happened after that was there were these beings, they were like the Titans. They were enormous, but there was literally this gate. It was a huge gate. And by the time I got to the gate, there was no one there now. It was just me. And there was a communication that said, once I went through the gate, I could not come back. So I walked through the gate and immediately everything that I had known was gone.
Yeah, it
was gone.
You went to the place of the real light when you go closer into source. I think that's what happens, Wayne.
Well, that's what it got kind of strange for me, because the next thing I know, the best way I can describe it, it's like a huge bubble. It's this membrane. And I remember pressing on it. And that's when I started panicking, was because I'm pressing on it. And I instinctively knew that I needed to press through it, but I couldn't. And then in an instant, I was back in my body on the couch where I had started out at.
That's interesting. That's your God bubble. I don't know how to explain that. Kelly.
There were other beings on the other side, and they weren't human. I can just tell you that. They, in fact, not say, I can't, as I try to recall it, I just remember they were forms. I knew that they were physical beings, I guess, but anyway.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing, Wayne. I think we're breaking through layers of consciousness. And I think that you entered a whole new layer of consciousness, which is one of those really tough things to get through. But I think that when we go through these cataclysmic cycles, these endings of these clocks, these are the times where we can break out of these membranes. So you will get through. You will. I know you will. And it's one of the consciousness bubbles that we're trapped in. And I know we're in 3D. Most people are just starting to identify fifth dimensional reality. I mean, and when we can start to really get and tap more into the seventh, which is it's a different level of consciousness. Every one of these realms, you don't perceive this existence. They all have their own literal consciousness, and that's kind of really hard to explain. But when I'm in fifth dimensional consciousness, I don't feel the same as if I'm in third dimensional consciousness. And I'm seeing third dimensional consciousness and fifth dimensional consciousness in this reality shifting back and forth sometimes. So that's interesting to me. I'm seeing them both here now, when before they were more separate. Now I'm seeing the timelines are flipping really fast, 5D, 3D, 5D, 3D, and it's based on your perception. So that's profound.
It's just me, but if in fact we have entered a new age, which we have, we went from Taurus, now into Aquarius. And it's just something that I've been reading, and I've been having spoken to me in dreams. But as I mentioned last week, in the book of Matthew, it talks about at the moment that, Christ supposedly left his body, his spirit did. And it didn't say his soul. It was said his spirit left his body, not his soul.
Yep.
That in the temple, the curtain that surrounded the Holy of Holies was rent from the top to the bottom. Now, that curtain was 6 inches plus thick. No human could tear it apart. My point is, I believe that these dimensions are starting to coalesce, and those who are tuned into it
Wayne,
And
I think you're exactly
yeah.
right. When the curtain was rent, it was ripped apart. So from being in your seeing from the soul, now you see from the spirit. Spirit sees all potentials, all timelines, all realities, all at the same time. So that would be exactly in my perception what will happen when I leave my body. The veil will be rent, gone,
Now I have a question that
destroyed.
I'm going to have to put down in my book as well. Is so, did the Christ have a soul?
Yes.
Well, but if it says in the scripture that his spirit left his body, not his
Yes.
soul.
Yes.
So what happened to the soul?
I think we all have soul. Soul is the solar part of you. I don't see soul as the way many do. The soul is, you have to have the soul to incarnate in a physical body.
So
It's
you're
part
saying
of,
the soul is basically
I think,
physicality or physical form?
to be honest, I think the soul is the greatest form of artificial intelligence ever created in all creation.
Good, because I always tell my people when I do the sales training, never say to someone, well, to be honest with you, because that's implying you've been lying all along. But
Well, but I mean, just
I know
what
what
I
you meant.
found so far, and it could be not true.
Well,
I
but
don't
that's
know.
true. But think
But
about
I
it.
think it's the highest form of organic artificial intelligence ever created, so we could bring spirit into physical realms, because spirit is not physical.
Kent and Tammy says, I don't believe in Christ. No, I get it. I'm right there with y'all
Oh
on
yeah,
that
we
one. But
understand that.
it's one of those hypotheticals,
It's your
and
definition of Christ. What do you define it
yeah,
as? My
and
definition, right?
if there was this murder that took place, but it's interesting because whoever wrote the story, and that's what we talked about, the etymology of the words chosen. It says he gave up his spirit.
Yeah.
Didn't say he gave up his soul.
Yes.
So that's just interesting.
And that's funny.
Soul
I
attaches us
think,
here. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think literally the Christ is it's an energy of consciousness, just like
I think it
spirit
is too.
is an
It's a
energy of consciousness.
thought. It's
Then they're
it's
two
a
different ones. One
yes.
spirit, one soul. They're two different aspects. With the feeling and then the consciousness, they're two different systems operating together for physicality. So I don't think the Christ is a person. I see it as an expression that is activated within the body. So your body can either stay third dimensional, sleeping, just going through the program, running your life, or you're spiritually awakened and you're on fire with knowing that you're more than the physical body, which is the activation of the Christ within you, which gives you access to higher frequencies of higher consciousness. It's just a bridge.
Lynn
I
and I
think,
had this conversation Sunday night, because we were talking about, well, what is the soul? And, I love my wife. She's a very practical individual. And, and it's deep as I am becoming more convinced, at least my perspective is that the soul is the memories.
yes, that's what I think, Wayne.
It's the memories.
It's what holds the individualized part of you together as a consciousness stream of experiences. Without that, your spirit is uncontainable. It's in everything. And it's scattered with everything. And when you become fully immersed in it, you're scattered with everything. There's no more you. You're all in nothing at the same time. So yeah, soul is important if you want to have any kind of individualized aspect of creation, because you are spirit emanating in this world through soul. So
You remember the dream I had where, I walked through that portal, but this life was, and it was almost like a teardrop white crystal that I was holding as I walked through. And there was people I knew, we talked, but anyway, when I got back to my abode, there was a console, and the console was laid out in a half circle, and there were numerous other stones, and then there were blanks in many of the other slots. And when when I put the stone into this console, it was everything I lived in, everything I remembered here. I remember specifically the love I had for Lynn. It was so intense. And then that's when this force came in. And anyway, so it may be just that.
Do you remember how many slots were empty on your console?
There's quite a few.
How many approximately?
If I could think about it, if I remember right, it's about like 3/4 the way filled, but there was these others and they were scattered. It was like this. And this one, this particular stone went in literally on the right lower part, and it fit perfectly in there. And, it was the essence of every memory I had, the love.
About how many crystals do you think were in that panel? Approximately, just approximately.
Oh, dozens.
144?
I don't know. There was it like I said, it was in a concave.
12 sets of 12. I wonder if that's what it was. And I wonder, Wayne, if those empty ones are your fractals that are still animated in physical worlds. It could be not even on Earth, but those are your other seeds. Literally, those are your seeds that you birthed out of your spirit, and the soul manifested them and brought them into reality streams of consciousness in the lower dimensions. I literally see that is so important for us to collect our seeds. When we
quantum theology would say that we're all living multiple lives in multiple places, multiple dimensions.
I believe it. I know it because I've seen some of mine, and it's kind of weird, but and you don't want to do too much of that, guys. It'll fracture your brain. You have to be careful with this work. The most of the spiritual work that most people are being taught right now to do are literally traps. I'm sorry to say that, but it's fact. The more I understand and the more I've seen and the more traps I've had to get myself out of now that I created through my own lack of awareness in practicing these spiritual things. But thank goodness, my intuition is always stronger than the trap I set within my own feet.
I like that.
And so grateful.
This group and, our weekly get-togethers is that it's interesting because, if I look, this channel has been going now for 8 years. That in the beginning, it was, and that's what's so interesting, because this is like a living diary of my life. It is, and the ships that have interacted and come through the port and what have you. But the interesting thing about it is that fear played a huge role. And much of the topics, every religion is dominated by fear because there has to be a motivation.
Yes.
Today, and if you were to ask me 8-10 years ago about death, I would have still been somewhat hesitant on it. It was just the thought of death, the thought of, would I see the sunrise? Would I see the sunset? Today, I look with great anticipation what awaits. It's not a fearful thing. In fact, it's like, I'll just be very straight. It's like going to Disneyland. I know I'm going to Disneyland. And, everyone, if you're anticipating something, it's exciting. And a lot of what we've studied in this as a group, those of you who have been with me for why, I just got to say thank you. What the hell are you thinking? But anyway, look what we've learned on our show. Our show is, I don't know, 3 or 4 years now. I mean, it's and it's helped me, as I told Lynn recently, to make the transition. And because we're all transitioning, even as we speak, as I speak.
Yes, absolutely.
I never saw it that way before.
I know. It's so beautiful when you can evolve your consciousness, and nothing's real until you feel it. Somebody could have told you this 100,000 times. It didn't matter because it wasn't anchored within your feeling body. So nothing's real until we actually experience it on a personal level inside your feeling body. So that's the gift, when they say the feeling is the prayer. Greg Braden is absolutely correct. It is the feeling is the prayer, because when you blend your spiritual power with the power of your soul, you can accomplish anything you want, because literally you do have that much power. This is what they do not want you to know. And they want you to get trapped in false light systems, chakras, guides, angels, spirits. All of it is in the false light construct. You were 3 consciousness deep in false light matrix. So when you can get through that truth, then you will get to experience more of your spirit. And spirit is very different from experiencing physical realms. So, determine, so many of us definitely are not done with physical. I don't know that I am. I
don't know either.
Physical expression. But I do know I don't take many dives down into 3D. And it does seem, from what I've been able to recollect, I come in at the ends of cycles. I don't even come here in the other times. I'm like, what was I thinking? Apparently I'm good at it. So whatever. So yeah, I come here for tower moment. Yeah, I'm a tower moment girl. And even my card in tarot is I'm the tower. It's so makes sense. Yeah, I'm here to see collapse so I can rebuild it, make it stronger and more beautiful, and recreate from the things that were our demise. We will see the truth of that in the end. And it breaks your heart to see the truth sometimes. But when we understand what we've done to ourselves, that's when we'll be able to heal.
Tom C says, I'm 29 minutes into the future. It's interesting because that is, a number that sticks with me.
I love it.
It's like, it's interesting. And when you look at this, I mean, one of the things I've been granted was the perspective. There was a life course that I had chosen, apparently, and then there was a joker thrown in which sent my life in a totally different direction. And as I'm at this stage in my life, in this physical form, I realized that although it could have been a different path, the path that I have been on has been one of the greatest adventures of a lifetime. I mean,
yeah. I think that's why I come in at the endings, because boy, it's a good time. And either you crash or you shine. It's like you're going to go either way. And I know all of that's okay too. So it's like you said, there really is no wrong or right or bad or good here. It's experience. It really is experiencing. And
you said prayer, and it's interesting because I've substituted prayer now with just gratitude and thanksgiving.
My ultimate substitute now for prayer is the marriage between my spirit and my soul manifesting a new potential into this earth realm or spirit realm, wherever I want it to go, because I can go anywhere I want it to go because I'm multidimensional in my aspect of self. So within my 12 dimensions of self, I can access all dimensions of self through that power. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is recently I was meditating and the voice came to my inner being saying, you can't expect these laws to apply if you're really looking to an outside dimension.
Yeah, you got to twist them inside yourself. None of the laws of physics can be broken in the reality. They can only be broken within you. You can do it, but the reality won't do it. But you can change it in the reality, in the presence of you, because your perception can bend it. That's how like magicians can do their work. And, they say miracles can happen. And you've seen miracles and I've seen them.
Oh yeah. Living one right now.
We change the physical realm through our consciousness. Magic.
The first word was club.
Cesium.
Magic. Cesium. Wow. Double. This is all alchemy. Dead.
Yep. Your twin.
Cover.
Wow. Cesium.
I just heard
club, magic.
Along.
Do you have some? Sex.
Bush.
B-U-S-H. Bush.
Sick. Reverend.
Wow.
That's interesting.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's
maybe it is.
And you know what else too has been in my consciousness very recently is that we definitely have a twin, a sleeping twin or a twin.
And there is
Reverend. Yeah, Reverend Sky.
69 years.
Again.
Mm.
Interesting. Sky, 69 years. Did we speak to Brian Barnett?
Brian Barnett, are you here? On, Milky.
Yeah,
Travel.
he's traveling. Okay, he's on his way.
It's very selective today. Tom.
Nighttime.
Nighttime.
Pendant.
Pendant.
Crayon.
Crayon.
Phantom.
We are.
Not a lot of activity today either.
It's more focused.
Yeah.
See?
I'll hold that up for everyone so you can.
Yeah, that seems like there's more, less
Arrived.
energy. Ooh, Phantom
The
arrived.
Phantom arrived.
Yep.
Hope.
Hope.
Oh,
Bringing hope.
yes.
Hi.
Hello,
Hi,
how are
Brian.
you?
Caught.
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 Caught in what?
Caught in what?
The net?
That's the first time it said hi.
I know.
I've had this for a while. That's the first time it actually said hi.
Brian.
We called to Brian.
That's right. And caught. See, and that was what we were talking about
Keep.
before he went. Keep.
Keep the hope.
Yes. Well, a caught and keep. Think about it. If you're caught,
Oh, yeah.
you're
Yeah.
kept. You're cut.
Yeah.
You're keep.
Nana.
Oh, Nana.
Short.
Short.
Each. Pluto.
Oh.
Sky.
There it is again. Sky.
Interesting.
Foliage.
Okay.
Tell.
Talk to the plants.
Verb.
Verb. Action.
Arrest. Dirty. Guy.
Arrest dirty guy.
Arrest the dirty guy.
Oh,
Peggy.
we want to. Peggy.
Trick.
Trick.
Shade.
Shade.
John. Leader.
Okay.
Fatal.
Wow.
Wow.
Include.
Include.
Foot.
Soul.
Healer.
Haha. Mm-hmm.
I was getting tired of.
Or.
Okay.
That's amazing.
It is.
He
And
said hi.
you did. I've had this for a while, and I've never had anyone say hi.
Yeah. And like I said, he's not given a lot because you know what? I think he's not supposed to. There's rules.
No, I think there are rules.
I know
and
there are. And the ones that break them are usually not serving your highest good. So be
79
careful.
years.
There's that
Mammy.
mammy.
Mommy.
67 years.
For some reason, it's.
2 years.
I don't know if these ages
B.
are related to someone. If it's.
Beast.
Beast.
Tennis.
Tennessee.
Evening. Discernment.
Wow.
Discernment.
Wise discernment.
Just
Screw. Soccer.
Wow, it's twice it used the
Peggy.
word Peggy, discernment, twice.
Signal.
I
that's
don't know.
interesting.
Him.
Heard him.
Weapon.
Strange how it just
They.
picks up on these words.
Correct.
It's
Late.
wild.
Death. Find. Shock.
Find, shock. It's interesting.
Yeah.
2 years.
Keep saying 2 years.
Keep
Fine.
saying it.
Shock. So we're gonna have some
Animal.
shocking stuff. Animal.
Animal.
That's all.
Finished.
Finished.
Finished. Thank you.
Well, and it's 1:00.
Amazing, right?
Amazing.
Amazing.
I have no idea, folks. So whatever it is, let me know. Let us know in the comments if this had anything that you could relate to, because discernment twice, it came back to back. So discernment is interesting. I'm not sure what. Monk and Experience says, I do believe there are rules. Sometimes if we know we can get in our own way. Yeah. So.
You know, it's so weird. I don't know why, but this book literally just opened while I was getting ready to close something. So I don't know if I'm supposed to put this out there. We made it. And now we will make it home through cooperation, the key. Benevolent cause of well-being. Law of cause and effect. Cooperation is balanced and has no karma. Something we will be giving, and it will be better than receiving. We will receive the well-being, the 12 divine principles of well-being, doppelgangers of the gods, Asherah, Ashara, Aphrodite, Athena, Anirt. What if we are the clones of the gods, the 26 genes, the true God code, question mark. 23 plus 3, the Trinity in me, that fused all the powers of 3 in the tree of life, the tree of thee. Soul to feel, spirit to perceive. Nothing is real until you feel it, right? Word I speak, therefore I create. Abracadabra. Karma is laws of cause and effect. Imagination, the imagination. It's the most powerful gift of the creation. Torah, all matter is in the Torah field. The torsion field, the rotation, the push, the pull, light, 7 rays, Elohim, prison, 7, life force, the spark of creator. Science and spirit are one. Do you see? Time and its cycles, the cycles of thee. History and its missing links, we soon will see. The truth of God is within you. The stars are in your eyes. They sit within you and within me. The stars are your connection to the universe. The zodiac is within you. The 12 zodiac are the 12 disciples that sit in your brain. 13, you remember who and what you are. Bring heaven to earth, and we shall make the 2 one, as above, so below. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Remember, we are the ones we've been waiting for. And that's what it was.
Far out. That's what I just have to say. Far
I'm gonna
out.
have my little spirit box thing going before the
Yeah.
show.
Woo. Well, Trina, another fantastic show. It was just great. I just love it.
It's so fun to explore our consciousness and try to understand what we are, because we truly don't know. And we're learning more every day together. And the more we learn together, the more we're connecting in our hearts and our consciousness and our soul and our spirit. We are now intimate. And it's a beautiful gift to have such beautiful people in my world. So thank you guys. I love you.
We love you on that thing. Now set to everybody. Have a fantastic day. Thank you. Thank you for hitting the like button. It helps feed the machine. And thank you all. Wow. There's not enough words. I just appreciate all of you. And Trina, appreciate you. And thank you all for, wow, such a beautiful, beautiful existence. Thank you.
Yeah,
Trina, I'll see you next.
Thank
And
you,
Brian, buddy,
yeah, thank you.
always
all
welcome.
for here.
Said hi. I mean, listen, I don't find that coincidental, because that box has never said hi. It just I've asked it to say hi, but it won't. But anyway, Trina, I'll see you next Tuesday, hon.
Oh, I can't wait.
Right.
I love you, my friend. I love you, Soul
Much
Tribe.
love to you, darling. And Soul Tribe, big hugs for all of you. Gilbert, how are you, brother? Good to see you, Chloe.
Yeah.
Chloe says you are a shining beauty, Trina. Indeed,
Chloe,
she
I
is.
love
There's
you.
no doubt about
I love
it.
you, sweet sister.
Check is in the mail.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. We love you. Let your light shine bright. I think there's actually a song. Marie, good to see you. So, all right, folks, we'll see you tomorrow. And